Hello friends. My name is. I can remember back then in school. This was how we used to introduce ourselves when we want to present like speech on the assembly ground. So I thought, how about I introduce myself that way? But I mean, aside from that, welcome to this amazing series, right? So we'll be going over the Airbnb MySQL projects, coming from ALX, right? So a little disclaimer: this project or this video, it's not intended to, you know, teach you how or give you fishes in your mouth, right? So I intend that this video is a guide towards you creating this project yourself, because the essence of this project is basically for you to learn how to draft out, make plans and whiteboard and get stuff done yourself and come up with logic. I mean, so, but I intend doing this video because I've been wanting to like give back to the community that helped out in my career at some point in time, right? So that's why I decided to like try to produce video for you niggas or record series and teach you how this stuff are being implemented, or the whole thought process, or even explain to you what the project is all about. Because I mean, if you understand what the project is all about, kind of get an overview of the project, you will definitely find your way around it. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's not like I want to give you guys fishes in your mouth. Nah, I just want to teach you so that you can understand the whole logic of the project, right? So that's just to put it out there that I'm not trying to like feed you niggas like fishes, but I want to teach you so well so you will understand. Because during my own days, it was quite difficult because there was literally no person to teach us. So we had to like do it the hard way. But by the grace of God, I'm a little bit advanced than you niggas. So I said, okay, let me try and help out and make life easier for you people, because that's the essence of having an elderly person above you. So they try to try to make you not go through the same process that they went through, that was actually way difficult, right? So that's why I'm trying to create these videos for you people and record the series and kind of like teach you to really understand how all these logics and concepts came about before produced the particular project, right? So that aside the way, in this particular video, so what we'll be doing, what I intend doing is kind of like taking like a tour around the project and kind of explain to you what the project is all about, so that you can kind of like start visualizing where you are heading to, right? Where you came from and where you are heading to, right? It will make sense like that. So if we look, if you take a closer look to your on your screen, you will discover a lot going on over here. But don't freak out; these are just like relationship between tables, right? But we'll get to see what this is in a short while. So just in case you missed out the first project, or maybe you're still working on the first project. So the first project had some limitations. This is the first project, which is the Airbnb the console, right? So over here, what we basically did is that we just created a minimal console that was just responsible for creating the models. That's what we did over here. And if you can see, like, just like maybe like the schema of what you will, definitely what your project will definitely sum up to on the long run. So you can kind of see that over here, they're just giving you like small. So in the console, we are actually just working with the file storage, which you get to see in action. We're just working with the file storage. These over here are fainted, meaning they are not active right now. So you don't have to do anything with these guys over here. So we are just working with the file storage. That's why it's kind of like colorful, but these niggas are fainted, meaning you're not like interacting with them. And it had limitations, meaning we just worked like on a basic console, right? So let me show you what I mean by that. So over here, this is actually the first project, which is Airbnb clone. And if you notice over here, this is Airbnb clone, right? So right now we could just run our console.py and we could just do create base model. So the base model has been created. We just return the ID of the base model and we can go to our file storage. And you can see we have what we have entered. We have recorded what an entry in the file storage, right? So this is the ID, which is over here, sys and here is sys. You can decide to create what? You can decide to create another entry, which is user. We just created another mod, which is user. Then we can come over here. Can you see the user model has appeared over here in our database? So let's do help and see other commands we can work with. Okay, let's do destroy. So I already know how it works, but if we don't know, we could just do help destroy from here, help destroy. and it's a destroy command to delete an instance. Well, not well documented, but I mean, so I already know how it works. So we can just do destroy, then we can call the model we want to destroy and pass the ID. And right now we've destroyed this. So if we go back to our file storage, we're no longer going to see the user model right now. So can you see it's gone from our database? We just only have the base model, and we can decide to delete the base model. We just have to copy the ID, and we'll come over here and do destroy, and we say base model, pass this. And right now, if we go back to the file storage, we're no longer going to see the base model. Now we're going to have an empty what? An empty file storage. Then we can decide to create again. Then we'll have a model called place. Then we can create place, and we'll go back over here. We now have the place. Right? So this was what we had initially in our console. Then now, if, let's say for instance, we want to create the user and pass maybe the name of the user and stuff like that. So it says class does not exist. So can you see the limitation that we had over here, right? Not really like limitation, but like this was where I wanted us to stop, so that we can, kind of like digest everything that we are learning. So they wanted us to take it gradually, right? So a step at a time. So we stopped here, which is just creating the model. So right now in this MySQL, what we'll be doing is that we are going to be working with a relational database instead of a file storage. Or not really. We'll be working with what? We'll be working with a relational database with a file storage. What does that mean? It means that whenever we do anything like create over here, so instead of it to create in the file storage, it's going to create in our relational database, such as MySQL, Postgres, Oracle. But in this particular project, we'll be working with MySQL, which is the one ALS provided us to work with, right? It does make sense. So right now, if I go over here, in the Airbnb clone MySQL, I will come to the project design. You can now start seeing that this MySQL is now visible. Over here in just the clone, it was fainted. Look at it. Over here to just the clone, it was fainted. But right now is it's visible, meaning we are now going to work with the relational database. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So it means that every single command or every single query that we'll be doing will be affecting our file storage and our relational database, right? So we'll basically be working with multiple database. And I know you'll be wondering, how then can we do something like this? Yes, you will be doing it, and the whole operations will be going simultaneously. It does make sense. So let me show you what I mean by that. So if we come over here, so this is the Airbnb clone V2, which is going to be the name of your MySQL Airbnb MySQL project. So if we want to do, so what we can do is we can say .console to run it, right? So right now we could just do create base model, and it's been created. So right now we can go to the file storage and look at the file storage. The file storage now has the base model, and we could basically also do the create user. So these are models that we already have, and I will show you that in action. And right now we now have the user, right? So this is the V2. But right now we also have a relational database that we are gonna be working with. Makes sense. So that means we can actually still create this base model, and it gets created in a relational database that has rows and columns. Right now, let me show you the setup. So this is the relational database that we're working with, which is called HBNB Dev DB. So right now, if I use it and I show tables, so can you see in these tables, these are the tables that we're going to have in our application, which is the Airbnb application. And we have the amenities, the cities, the place, and the blah blah blah. And right now we have a table called states. Look at a table called states. So these are the states that we created from our command line. These are the states. Right? So how then are we going to do it so that whenever you want to create something over here, it gets created inside of the relational database instead of creating it in the file storage? So to achieve that, we have a little tweak in the syntax that we're going to use. So what is the syntax that we're going to use? Let me show you. Don't worry, we'll still see how we implemented all of this, right? So right now, if we want to execute a query to the database, what we can actually do is we have to set what is called an environment variable. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry, I will show you that in action. So right now, we just have to copy this, right? We just have to copy this, and we have to exit our console and paste this. And right now, let me maybe change this city from, Okay, let me create a state. Let me create a state, sorry. Let me create a state instead of creating a city. So let me create a state. So I just copy the command. So it's very lengthy, that's why I don't want to type. Control A. So let me change this California to maybe New Jersey, right? And watch, right now in our database, there is nothing like what? There is no state like what? Like New Jersey. There's no state like New Jersey over here. Can you see? So right now we could just hit enter. And guess what? We have an error which says an error occurred. Make sure to replace all white space and the value with an underscore. Create example. Create user name is equal to Kylie underscore Chuku. So just in case your name has a space between it, make sure to replace it with an underscore. Else our command interpreter will not be able to interpret your command, right? So you can now basically tell what the error is, right? In this New Jersey, we have a space over here. So that's why the command interpreter is not able to interpret it. So how can we fix it? We just basically have to pass an underscore over there and we good. So let's pass an underscore and see what happens. And perfect. It's now able to interpret our command and an entry has been created. So this is just what they needed to return whenever you create an entry is created or a record is created. Just return the ID of the record that was being created, right? So right now we could try to query our database again. And we can now look for New Jersey. So look at it. New Jersey is now over here. So it's not ordered because the ID is not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the ID will make use of a unique identifier, a UUID. So you don't expect to see this New Jersey at the bottom. Now it can be placed anywhere because these IDs are not, in alphabetical order. So that's why we have New Jersey over here. We can try to maybe create another, maybe let's say another town, another state. So what state can we create? We could create like New York. Again, sorry, I used to forget. So let's pass an underscore. Perfect. So now let's look for New York. And right now we have New York over here with an ID of what? With an ID, with an ID of 4F. Over here 4F. So this is the new record that we just created, which is this New York. The new ID, the new record we just created, right? So that's basically everything you need to know about this MySQL. So I know you might be wondering, so what are all these guys over here? So from here, so what are they? What are they doing? What are they doing? I know you might be wondering, what are they doing? So let me show you a little trick. So over here, if I change this DB to something like file storage and hit enter, what do you think will happen? Okay, let's change the name of this from New York to maybe Texas, right? And let me show you something. So over here we just do Texas and we'll create. And let's go back to our MySQL server and hit. Can you see there is nothing like Texas over here? Look at, you can't find anything like Texas. If we want to verify, we could say select star from states where name is equal to what. So this is an SQL query I'm writing. Don't worry if you don't know what it is, but I'm basically trying to check if there is any column or any record with the name of Texas, and we hit enter. So you see it returned nothing, right? But if we do New York, you see it returned an entry. So that means that we don't have anything like Texas. But this query executed, right? So where then is this Texas that we just created? It was persisted in another type of database, which is file storage. And right now we can go to our file storage and you can see we have Texas over here. We have Texas over here. So what happened? We did not create a record in our MySQL, but rather we created it in in the file storage. So that is what I meant by you'll be managing multiple database. You'll be the one to tell the interpreter where to persist the data, either in the relational database or in the file storage that you have in your application. If you find this video helpful, do it to like, subscribe, share, comment, and do your possible best to support the channel the best way you can. Peace and love. You can now roll over to the next video.